Hey guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Trade Network. I'm here with the world's happiest sommelier.
That's me.
Trust me. So, Thomas brings a lot of optimism. Thomas brings a lot of, passion, and he's always smiling. So stay tuned, watch this episode and why you should, work with his business, and I'm sure that you will smile after his experience as well. Thank you.
Sid, thank you so much for joining me here at beautiful Palo Alto Hills.
Thanks for having me here.
Of course,
Amazing.
my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much. How was your drive, your commute? You happy to be here?
It was fantastic. What a beautiful place. Like, look at the setting. I mean, it's beautiful golf course here. Love it. Amazing. I'm sure the weather is beautiful as well.
Yes.
So how's everything been?
Everything's wonderful. You cannot complain when you get to receive the titans of industry in your whole network.
Appreciate it.
Of course. I greatly enjoy the views of the San Francisco Bay, the Arrastradero Preserve nestled here in beautiful Palo Alto, and talk to the wine industry a little bit more about Sommelier Choice Awards and doing the brand ambassadorship for the beautiful Bordeaux region we all love so much.
Amazing. So let's kick that off, folks. What we're really doing here is, introducing you Thomas. Thomas Brenner has been expert from Bordeaux, and he will be sort of coming in to educate about Bordeaux wines to the US trade especially. First phase is that, and then we'll build up more consumer content where he'll talk about Bordeaux, he'll do some tastings about the winners as well. He'll be coming in the flight, he'll be judging the Bordeaux flight as well, and we'll go deep into the Bordeaux section through Thomas. So this episode is all about the varietal benchmarks of Bordeaux. What do you look for, when a sommelier is tasting, or when you're drinking the Bordeaux at your home? What would you look for in the characteristics of that particular, juice there, right? So Thomas, why don't you give us an introduction about your background? What is your emotional connection with Bordeaux, or why did you pick that as a region?
This is a very good question. Thank you for asking. I believe as a traditionalist and a classicist, there's nothing more textbook appropriate than the enjoyment of Bordelais wines. The region is fantastic with the most famed chateaus in the entire world, the scenic beauty and the unrivaled benchmarks of quality. There are a great many different SKUs that are approachably priced and accessible, from fruity and young, price-wise, to the most staggering god levels of all different iterations of Venice delights. For that reason, I am just enamored with the right bank, with their Merlot and Cabernet Franc heavy iterations, as well as the storied and famed chateaus of the left bank, as well as Sauvignon Blanc from Entre deux Mers and Muscadet, all the different varieties. You name it, Bordeaux has it on offer, and I'm so very excited to be talking to you about this.
Amazing. So let's go right into it. So Thomas, give us a little market summary of how Bordeaux wines are doing in the US market. What have you seen lately? What are you predicting next?
The way I interpret the current state of Bordelais wines on the export market and the import market, not only here in the United States, but also on a global aspect, is that Bordeaux wines have always been coveted. Whether you are a wine buyer or a professional or a sommelier or a private wine enthusiast, Bordeaux wines are always collectible, are always age-worthy, and encompass the entire gambit from Malbec to Carmenere to Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, as well as Sauvignon Blanc. There are a great many different facets of Bordelais wines. On the right bank, with different terroirs and iterations such as Saint-Emilion and Pomerol, and then on the left bank, we're talking about Saint-Julien, Saint-Estèphe, the Médoc with Pauillac. There's some great regions, Pessac-Léognan, and the French are so open and so welcoming and so hospitable and have a lot of brand power and also a lot of advertising revenue to really help the fledgling wine lover make the most of all that Bordeaux has to offer.
So questions, normally that Bordeaux producers have for us is, which markets can I start with? Where are the more Bordeaux wine drinkers in US? Which states, if I had to pick a couple, is a good states to start with?
It's a great question, Sid. Thank you for the question. The answer lies in the major American markets of Miami, New York, Chicago, LA, but in my opinion, the most noteworthy region would be the San Francisco Bay Area, where the titans of tech and the movers and shakers of Silicon Valley allow the California GDP to encompass the 5th largest economy in the world, would it be its own country. While LA has a lot of fine dining and Hollywood, the San Francisco Bay Area boasts numerous 3 Michelin star restaurants, private golf courses, country clubs, and expansive array of wealth and interest of tried and true, storied and famed wine lovers that don't only relish in Sonoma or Napa wine iterations, but also delight in all that Bordeaux has to offer.
What does come to mind when you think of Bordeaux?
When I think of Bordeaux, I honestly just think about non-monovarietal iterations of blends. And I believe that the American market has for a very long time shunned the blend market of wines, but I do see an upcoming tick of enjoying well-crafted traditional house styles that are consistent year in, year out due to the assemblage of different grape varieties in a blend.
You know, if you were just building a wine list and you have 2 varietals that you want to really make sure that this represents Bordeaux, it's enough. Like if you have this 2, and if you don't have this 2, sort of you're missing the boat of representing Bordeaux in your wine list. Like say, if you're just building a wine list, obviously you don't have much space, but if you had to pick 2, this would be the 2 main varietals for Bordeaux, and why?
I appreciate you asking about the best Bordelais grape varieties. They would truly be the number 1 and number 2 grapes in the world, and in my opinion, number 1, the king, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Merlot. Cabernet Sauvignon is the king of wines for a reason. It is hardy, reliable, robust, age-worthy, delicious, and perfectly transcends the terroir and that which the winemaker wishes to bestow upon the person enjoying this wine. Merlot, on the other hand, being the sister grape to Cabernet, is more lush, more fruity. Together, they play so wonderfully together, and there's a vast breadth of different possibilities when these 2 beautiful grapes come into play.
What do you look for? Like, how is Cabernet Sauvignon from Bordeaux different than the Napa? So what are the typical characteristics, if you go a little deeper? Describe the grape of Bordeaux.
Traditionally, if we were to adhere to textbook and varietal correctness, Cabernet Sauvignon, whether manifested from Napa vineyards or those in Bordeaux, always exudes the hallmarks of this grape variety. Cabernet Sauvignon exudes cassis, so blue currant, also a minerality of lead, graphite, pencil shavings, baking spice, cardamom, also mentholated eucalyptus from the strong pyrazines, if we're just going to speak chemically. However, in Napa traditionally, with the warmer weather, the grapes get bigger. There's a heightened ABV. There's also usually more oak exposure, more toasty notes, and American oak also exudes a little bit more dill and coconut spices. Whereas in Bordeaux, there are usually blends that don't see as much ABV. They're a little bit more food-friendly and approachable. However, both iterations are quite age-worthy and are to be of the highest regard in every manifestation.
What do you expect out of Merlot when it comes to the typicity characters?
Merlot has sadly lost its luster after the movie Sideways. However, while I lament Sideways blasting Merlot as an inferior grape for a great many years, I absolutely covet what Sideways did. Sideways basically resuscitated and re-enlivened Merlot. It is now being taken serious as the winemakers are working harder than ever to allow this beautiful grape to shine. Traditionally in the United States, the Washington market was number 1 for Merlot, up in the Columbia Valley and different regions. Napa also has a great many wonderful Merlot iterations. However, currently it reigns supreme on the right bank of Bordeaux in Pomerol and Saint-Emilion.
What the association or regional bodies, from France or Bordeaux, co-ops collectively can do? What kind of marketing do you think will emphasize and connect with US?
The reason I adore Bordeaux so very much is because of their love for wine, their purchasing power, and their marketing dollars as well. Bordeaux has a very grand self-interest in brand augmentation and bestowing upon the world at large the beauty and the love of their wines. There are a lot of winemakers that come and visit the United States and are always fun to have over, and invite them in for a Wine 101 class, a master class, a winemaker dinner, educational series, and we'll also do education. It is these Bordelais greats that make everyone so very happy with all that they can offer, and their brand power is beyond staggering, tried and true, and encompasses a wealth of classicist views over hundreds of years.
And you being sort of our ambassador to help grow Bordeaux sales or awareness in US market, what's your tips or pitch to the sommeliers on how they can sort of roll out more Bordeaux? What are the ways stories can be told?
My advice for a fledgling sommelier to see a grand edition of Bordelais wines on their lists for their restaurants and different venues would be to start in the right bank. American palate and the world palate greatly enjoys approachably priced iterations, different SKUs, and this exists on the right bank, namely Saint-Emilion and Pomerol. The Cabernet Franc and Merlot grapes there can often be fetched at not too expensive a price point and are always very palatable, and a great segue for the American and the palate, the world at large, would be these fruit-forward, robust, and approachably priced iterations coming from the right bank. Any Cabernet lover of Napa and Sonoma can easily transcend the realm of what Bordeaux has to offer.
Hey guys, so very pleased to hear about your new idea, new business.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's a perfect timing because, you know, we are so much, there is a disconnect between sort of three-tier system. There is so much good wines and good places to discover, right?
Oh yeah.
Because of the three-tier bottlenecks, less and less distributors are sort of taking more wines. You know, I think a lot of wineries are taking approach of tourism, cellar door experiences, and plus I think new generation or young wine drinkers want more experiences than the actual consumption, right? So I think it's a great idea. Why don't you tell us about this new business model that you are launching?
I appreciate you asking, Sid. Basically, I have quickly learned that the tired old wine world that seems so pretentious and inapproachable has now fallen by the wayside in light of something that is invigorating and exciting, and that would be participatory, immersive, exclusive, high-end experiences of tasting and feeling the wine, meeting with winemakers, tasting of the land. And that, when you open a bottle, allows you to harken back to the days of visiting with the talents in the vineyard and in the winery themselves. There's nothing like the tourism and the hospitality of this great wine world, which we call home, Sid.
Let's go a little deeper into your business model, right? So wineries can sign up as well, and how do they come on board if they want to be part of your experience program? Let's start with that first.
That's a great question. Wineries are always welcome to contact the most interested parties in the world for exclusive events. There are so many great hosts and possibilities all over the world. Mainly, a person seeking an experience would contact me through different channels, ideally viniside.com, let me know what they wish to experience, and I wish to be basically the Tinder of the wine world and be a matchmaker for the person who wishes to fall in love with the end result, which is the sharing and delight.
So give us
of
a little
wine.
example, like they would tell you, I want to do this, and then you will find a match for that particular need, right?
Viniside is basically a teleportation device and a time machine to allow you to most appropriately taste of literally the fruit of a people's labor. What this entails is basically a way to bestow upon the world these grand experiences that they did not even know that was on offer for them. As a very well connected and passionate sommelier, I have learned that I function in the dual capacity as basically an Amex concierge. People ask me all the time, where should they go? What should they drink? What is looking good right now? What is hot? What is not? You have to keep up on current trends. Ideally, I find the perfect match, in my opinion, for an interested party, their loved ones, their friends, their colleagues, for an immersive, exclusive trip to anywhere in the world with an emphasis on boutique and high-end, fashionable and welcoming, hospitable wine venues the world over. The way that you could experience what Viniside has to offer the most efficiently is by letting me know of dates, interests, and we could marry any experience on any budget with an emphasis on exclusive, high-end, and luxurious travel destinations. This could encompass lunches or dinners and even stays at the most famous chateaus, wineries, and domains in the world, as well as chauffeured trips to vineyards, meeting with the winemaker, blending wines. If you dream it up, I would love to make it happen. The clients that I wish to cater to the most are those that encompass the wide wealth of interest in wine. I would like to make sure that it is an interested party that also benefits the very most from these experiences. And these would be business events, families, loved ones, clients, corporate retreats with an emphasis on education and immersive experiences.